You know, you could put all the statistics, numbers, whatever that you want out there on the news to tell us this economy has turned. You know, now everybody's worried that it hasn't. But if you listen to people, and you listen to people speak to you, or speak among themselves, you'd realize it isn't that way. Jimmy Carter would have called it malaise. I call it a funk. It's craziness in this country. People are not happy. They're in a funk. We've talked about a lot of the reasons why. But what I find worrisome is I've been talking to a lot of what I call the kids. Those are in their 20s and 30s. A lot of them are professionals, all going out hustling, trying to get jobs or working hard, putting in big hours, starting to raise families. And they say, and I've been hearing this from a lot of them, and I'm with a lot of them right now, that they're worried. It's like, I work hard, I'll make my money, I'll do this, but man, China's going to take over the world. Man, Russia's going to take over the world. Man, you know, what are we going to do? And we're not, in 10 years, the country is not going to be what it was. And I really have to worry, and I really have to be nervous about all this. And I think it's really a mistake for us to look at it this way. And I think, and I say it to them, number one, that's a great generation. All the different names, me generation, this generation, that generation. It's a group over like 10, 15 years, a strong generation, smart kids. They're happening, they're learning. We coddle them a lot. Well, what's wrong with that? But they're learning, they're putting it together, yet they get nervous over where they see the future. And what I believe and what I say, and I really hope that some more do one day, and we get beyond this MSNBC, Fox, CNN jive, is that this is still a great country. Not for words, but the real. And a great country is blessed. Does blessed mean by a deity? Who knows? Does blessed mean that we have just some of the greatest natural resources in the world? Who knows? But we're definitely blessed that way. Are we blessed that we have two friendly neighbors, Canada and Mexico? They're our friends. We're blessed that way. Are we blessed that as we grew, and we still do now, it was more effective then, that we have the Atlantic and the Pacific on the east and west side of us, so we had protection against the world? We were blessed that way. Are we blessed because we had a group of people who came together in the mid-1700s, and then the late 1700s, to write maybe the finest document ever on government, the Constitution, and then of course the attendant Bill of Rights, giving people rights, letting people run and control their government. And we do, no matter how much we may all complain. I know I do a lot. It's still a government by the people, for the people, and it really is. We just have to take more control of it. And then we always worry. But when this country has problems, it always comes out of them. It's like a cycle. We went through the Revolutionary War, then the country started falling apart. And before that happened, that was under the Articles of Confederation we had. George Washington, maybe the greatest leader, if not one of the greatest leaders of all time in our country. And then George Washington again as first president. And then when the country was getting ripped apart just before the Civil War, we elected a warrior and a dreamer, Abraham Lincoln, to come in to help get us through one of the most searing, and 600,000 Americans killed by each other. Yet Abraham Lincoln got us through all that. We had other great leaders as time went on. In the Depression, you had Franklin Delano Roosevelt, FDR, so loved that he was reelected 4 times. He not only led us through a depression, came up with great ideas we were still living with today, Social Security, things like that. He led us through World War II and made some great decisions. He was the man. When our country needed him, he was there. And then when the USSR, what we now know as Russia, which the USSR started growing after World War II and getting bigger and bigger and bigger, we had cold warriors. And it was a group of presidents that saved this country. It starts with a haberdashery owner, Harry Truman, went through General, of course, President Eisenhower, JFK, LBJ, Richard Nixon, Jimmy Carter, Ronald Reagan, all cold warriors. And they took on the USSR. And everybody was worried, and we were going to have a nuclear war, and we were all going to get destroyed, and it was all over, duck and cover. We had a couple little wars, maybe to let some of the steam out, but those leaders kept us together so that we won without war. We won the battle of ideas, and we will again. And that's why so many people want to come here and live here. And that's why so many people want to become citizens of this country, and why we're going to have to do something down the road about all this. But that's, as we had said earlier, about the soup and the ethnicities being the spice. That's why we're just going to keep getting better and better. We're going to come out of this funk because we're blessed. And you got to believe in it. And it's because we're going to take control, and because we're going to elect leaders that are going to make things happen. And because events are going to force these leaders to stand up. Because this country is blessed. Blessed any way you want to call it blessed. But we are. Because we're blessed with the greatest ideas. And we are all one because of those ideas. So believe. Go forward. Don't worry. Don't worry about the Chinese taking us over. A great society, a great culture, but they're not going to do it to us. They're going to do their own thing. The same with the Russians, hardy people, but they're going to do their own thing. Don't worry about the United States. And this generation that's here, and then the generation of the kids underneath them, are just going to make us greater and greater and greater. It'll work. It always works out. It just does. Peace.